So I'm going to tell you about different kind of, it's a good follow-up to Constantine. Constantine, hard talk to follow, but I think I can follow it because I've got another idea for how you might find the supposed Planet 9 in the solar system. And everybody in here can participate in this kind of project. So the title of my talk is Discovering Rogue Worlds in the Sun's Backyard. And let's get started. So, Planet 9, you just heard about it. Poll the audience here. How many people think it's real? Yeah? Okay. How many of you are astronomers? Okay. Interesting. So here's an artist's rendition of what this might look like, this Planet 9 object that might be out there. I am what they call an observer. I go to the telescope, I take images, I analyze my data, I go home, I have an image of something. I like to put my money where my mouth is, so I love the idea of theorizing a Planet 9, but I'd like to see it in order to believe it. I think Constantine mentioned that Neptune was discovered, what was it, Constantine? An hour after opening the telescope. And we just haven't found it yet. Not to say that it's not there, but it's a hard object to find if it's real. We heard a couple of the parameters here. Maybe it's bigger than Earth. Hopefully it's bigger than Earth, so that makes it easier to find. It looks like it could be highly eccentric from what Constantine has told us, both in his talk and in his paper. And it's got a big orbit, so it takes it a really long time to go around the sun. And it's probably pretty big. So we're about, we call it 1 astronomical unit, or just 1, you can think of it, distance away from the sun. This thing is much, much, much further away than Pluto, further away than any other object in our current solar system that we know. And so I've rendered a little movie of what it might look like in its current distance. So here's the sun. We've got the terrestrial planets all jammed in there nicely, Mercury, Venus, and Earth. My house is there somewhere. Constantine's is as well. We'll fly out, and we encompass the rest of our solar system, what we all call home. It's our little solar system. This is software that we have at the American Museum of Natural History. It's called UniView. It was actually developed in Sweden by a number of Swedish astronomers. There's Pluto out there. Fun story, Pluto's still not a planet, unfortunately. How many people want it to be a planet? Weird. Okay, good. Good though. I like the excitement. Not sure why you think that. We got to fly way the hell out here to get to a point where this thing might be. So it is cold out here, and it is a far distance away from what we would call home. Even still, wouldn't it be nice to find this thing? And wouldn't it be nice to participate in finding this thing? For those that are not astronomers in the audience, raise your hand if you'd like to help find it. Not really seeing unanimity. I don't know the word. Unanimity in here? What the fuck, people? You could put your name on the planet. Name it whatever you want. You don't want in on this? This is a pretty cool project idea. So where is it? Constantine gave you the scoop that maybe it's by Orion. I don't know. We've kind of looked. We're not seeing much. This is an image to give you an idea of where our planets live. There are 2 planets in this image, and there's a couple of other things in this image. Maybe if you are familiar with the sky, you might recognize this beauty. These are the Pleiades. Somebody's excited. Maybe you can name it Pleiades if you find the planet then. Pleiades, open cluster. It's a beautiful collection of stars. We've got this beauty over here, not a planet, but a star called Aldebaran. And then you've got a couple of planets in here. Anybody want to guess what planets? Shout it out. Damn, Austin. Well done. Jupiter and Venus. Nice. Were those astronomers? Because I can tell I know we have some in here, and I don't like the cheating. Jupiter and Venus are in a bit of a line. So the planets are in a line. They live in a plane in our solar system. And so that's also, it's a nice place to look for planets. But whether or not where planet 9 is going to be, Constantine gave us a little trick, not sure where it lives. This is where our current planets, if you're going to look for a planet, you would look in the plane of the solar system. Not to say that's where planet 9 is, because guess who doesn't really live in the plane of the solar system? Anybody whose hand up was for Pluto. Pluto's not really following the plane of the solar system. Hence, it's also a pain in the ass of a planet to keep within all of our planets. Speaking of which, how was Pluto discovered? Pluto was discovered in this interesting way by blinking images, by taking images of the sky and looking for something that moves. So here's a classic image of the sky. Most of the points that you're looking at, actually I think all of the points that you're looking at here are stars, and I'm going to blink them for you. Now I'll give you $100,000 if you find Pluto. I hear so many things. You keep looking, and I don't know what you're pointing at. This is adorable. Try and find it. $100,000 going once, going twice, going 3 times. There it is. Did anybody get it right? Raise your hand, I'll give you the $100,000. Are you serious? You liars. You bunch of Texan liars. I don't believe you. That is hard to pick out. Yes, there's a lot of things here. So, dirty things in this image is that some things look like they vary and some things look like they jump. But finding an object that's a real planetary object it'll look like a ball of light. So it shouldn't have a misshapen to it. It shouldn't look like a blob. Sometimes I use that technical word, blobby. So some of you might have been, did you jump to this one? Did some people jump to that? Not correct. There's a couple of things in here that look, you got to train your eye. So I want you to, this is a good example, because this is the project that I've opened up for everybody to participate in by blinking images and looking for something that moves. These images were taken with, you need time in between them. If you take some images with time in between them, you can blink them and you can find something that's moving. Hence, here's your opportunity to participate with the project that is called Backyard World: Planet 9. And it is our gift, I want to say gift to the community for you to participate with us astronomers in the search. I would say hunt, but that implies we're going to kill it, which we are not. I would say gather, but that makes me sound like a hippie with that I'm going to love this object, which I don't know if we're even going to like it. Planet 9, Backyard Worlds, backyardworlds.org is the name of our site. It's a brand new citizen science project. What we've done is collected images that were taken by NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, or WISE for short, that imaged the entire sky in infrared wavelengths, in a wavelength that your eye cannot see, in a wavelength where things that are cold glow brighter. And we're going to ask you to blink the images for us of the whole sky and search anywhere and everywhere for something that moves so that you can participate and identify things that might move. Maybe it's Planet 9, or maybe it's actually something else. And 2 little cute tidbits about our project here. We didn't want to call it Backyard Worlds at first. We wanted to call it Rogue Worlds, because Rogue Worlds was, maybe it's going to be a Planet 9, but I'll tell you about the other kind of interesting object, which is actually the thing that I wanted to start this project for, which are these brown dwarfs. But Backyard Worlds, we had to switch it because we launched this site in November is when we were starting the press for it. And the new administration was about to take over. Actually, it was then January. And because this is a NASA-funded site, And because the word rogue was in the site, all of the various administrative sites were coming on with rogue handles. And so NASA shut us down and said, you can't have rogue in your title. So we had to switch it to Backyard Worlds. Not terrible, but I would have preferred rogue. Then, second controversy, NASA called us up the day before we were going to launch because we said Planet 9. And NASA's pissed that Pluto's not a planet, kind of. If people are from NASA here, you can verify this. Yeah? Some people. Planet 9. Constantine, you kind of fucked up when you chose that, man. Because Pluto was Planet 9. And now, what do we got? So NASA called us up and said, change it to Planet X. And we were like, fuck no. You know what Planet X is? That's where the crazy ass people think that aliens live. And we're going to tell the general public they don't live. There's no aliens. So they tried to get us to change it, and we decided, no. Planet 9's a big enough thing. We're going to maintain, and NASA's cool with it right now, but I don't know how long they'll be cool with it. So, Backyard Worlds, you can participate and help us blink. Here's how it works. Number one, here's our propaganda, my propaganda for you to participate. And here's my side project with it. So you can blink and find Planet 9, but wouldn't you prefer to find possibly the more interesting kind of object? Thank you. Did I plant that? I feel like that's one of my research colleagues. Here's a little view. Let's fly out of the goddamn solar system into the nearby solar neighborhood. And as we fly around, what you'll see is not just stars, but these purple and pink colored objects. These things that are all over the place. All of these things that are all over the place, these are very cold objects near the sun that are called brown dwarfs. So sometimes people call them failed stars, but I'm very uncomfortable with the word failure in any title for anything. So that's why I call them overexcited planets. This is one of your trivia questions. I did an interview with NPR last week, and they loved it, and they made it the title of the article, Find an Overexcited Planet. And yes, that's what they are. They're basically a bit more massive than planets. A bit more massive than planets for the most part. So these things, which are all over, and you can find them if you blink images. Now, I will also give you $100,000. Second opportunity. Well, first, can you name me the closest star to the sun? Proxima Centauri, so the Alpha Centauri system. Now, for $100,000, if you're not an astronomer, name me anything else in the top 4 closest system to the sun. No, out with Alpha Centauri system. You can't name that. It's too easy. What? Okay. Shocking. You guys got that. All right. So that's number 2. Can anybody name me number 3 and 4? It's Barnard Star is number 2. Not Sirius. Not a wolf. Not Capitans. Wolf 359 is number 5. Just name me number 3 and 4. $100,000. I'm going to up it. $200,000. Anybody? And no, and it was in the trivia. So in the end, if you paid attention to trivia, you'd get it. Yes. You don't get it though. It's too late. And I know you got it from the trivia now because you would have shouted it out. The sun, Alpha Centauri system is number 1, closest. Barnard Star, number 2. Number 3, an object called Lumen 16 AB. Number 4, WISE 0855. So Lumen 16 is named after an astronomer who's not here, but he's at Penn State. His name is Kevin Lumen. It's a binary system, and it's 2 brown dwarfs. WISE 0855 is, I think, one of the most exciting objects discovered in recent history. It is Lumen 16 and WISE 0855 are brand new to the solar neighborhood. They were only discovered in 2013 and 2014. So what year is it? 2017? Is that the year? Yeah, okay. So 4 years ago, back when it was a very different world, 4 years ago, Lumen 16 AB was discovered in WISE 0855. This is the equivalent of figuring out that somebody lives in your house, in your bedroom. You've been sharing your bed with them, and you didn't know it. That's who's there. Planet 9, similar. But these guys as well, or these ladies, genderless, both of them are sitting out there, and they lied uncovered. They were discovered by WISE, this Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer that I'm allowing the community, anybody to participate, blink through to either find Planet 9, fine, great, or one of these things, which I'm sure our solar neighborhood hasn't been figured out yet, because we're still finding things that are in our backyard. And WISE 0855, just run the movie for you one more time. I don't know why it's not running. WISE 0855 is sitting out there at roughly 250 degrees Kelvin. I know Kelvin sucks as a temperature range because we don't do it, but it's about 100 degrees warmer than Jupiter. It's about 3 to 10 times the mass of Jupiter, and it has no star. It's alone. So sometimes we call it a rogue world, rogue planet, rogue world. Hence, Rogue Worlds was going to be the site name. NASA killed it. Rogue, it's rogue. They're running wild, and they're probably all over the place, and there's probably one closer. I would bet you $500,000 that there is one of these things closer than Alpha Centauri, and you can help us find it with Backyard Worlds. So this is how the site works. Got like 4 more slides to show you exactly how you can participate in this project. So backyardworlds.org. Here's a picture of the sky that I took at a telescope. Most of what you're looking at, stars, okay, shocker. Now, what you can do is I want to find something that moves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a bit of time. Ideally, you wait a couple years. If you want the right baseline for something like Planet 9, you don't want to wait a couple years. You'd wait a couple of months, because what you're actually measuring is its what we call a parallax, its motion relative to us that tells us how far away it is. But I want to take another image. And what we chose to do on our site is to subtract 2 images. So if I were to take an object, take another image, subtract it, if nothing moves, you shouldn't see anything. No more stars, everything's gone. So we decided to do this, but if there's a really faint object, it should pop out a lot easier. That just gives you a preface for not getting kind of pissed when you see these images that look a little bit messy because we've image subtracted. So here, these are just bad star subtractions. This is one of our Backyard Worlds images. These are bright stars here. But I'm going to blink it for you, and you'll see the discovery of WISE 0855 and why anybody in this room could have participated in it, because it's super easy when you see how we've set up the site. So this is going to blink 5 years between the first and the last image. And we asked people to flip through images and mark anything that moves. Do you see anything that moves? Okay, good. Win. You guys just discovered, I think, one of the best things that we've discovered in the past 15, 20 years. There it is, WISE 0855. The site is designed in order. It is, okay, we call it Backyard Worlds Planet 9, but really it's designed to find things like this. Objects that are moving near the sun, potentially that could be closer than the closest star to the sun. So this is an example of what you're going to blink through images and you're going to click on things that move. So here's a typical image. We've been going through our click data. We have right now over 38,000 volunteers as part of this project. They've gone through over 5 million images for us. So I'm about to show you our first big discovery, our first big paper. But when we went through the click data, we thought, how many times could somebody mark something that moves in an image? Like, okay, maybe you go crazy and you think 6 or 7 things moved. Rule of thumb, every 30 or 40 images, you should see something that moved. But somebody clicked 2,200 things. This was like clearly somebody that came home drunk and was like, everything is moving. I don't know. Or a cat that just like jumped on the keyboard. We omitted that entry right away. I'm going to blink one for you here. And this is the first discovery that we put out. Tell me if you see it. So again, ignore, just give you a hint. This is not it. This is a star that's subtracting. The light is kind of moving around the image. There's an object that moves in here that no one had ever seen before our backyard world citizen scientists uncovered it. See a lot of people pointing towards it, I think. Did you see it? Did you guys get it? All of you could have been co-authors on this paper. So this object's called WISE-A 1101 plus 5400, or as we were lovingly calling it, Bob Star, because a science teacher named Bob Fletcher from Tasmania was the one that pointed us to this object 6 days after we launched the site. 3 other people participated. 2 people, a man from Russia, a man from Serbia, and a woman from Sweden. All 4 people, all they did was blink through the images and click on something. They sent it to me. I went to the NASA's IRTF telescope, infrared telescope facility director, and I said, would you be willing to give me just a couple of hours on a telescope tonight? Our citizens have done something great. He said, sure, Jackie, you're awesome. So yes, that's how science works. Astronomers in the audience, right? Remember this. If you're on the TAC for anything I do. So followed it up. It was difficult observation because it's really faint, but took the image, got it. Brand new brown dwarf that no one had uncovered before. Paper came out last week. We had a bunch of press on it last week and today. It's about 100 light years away, so it is not within the solar neighborhood. But that doesn't mean that there isn't more out there waiting. Of the 38,000 volunteers, we've had a lot of people participating. We've got a lot of great objects to follow up on, but there's a ton of the sky left to do. Planet 9 might be in there, even if it's not, though. Constantine. Even if it's not, and I don't care if it is, you can find other awesome objects in a project like this. So participate, backyardworlds.org, and I'll take any other questions you guys might have.
Thank you, Rogue World Conserver, I guess this will be your new name. So we have some time for a couple of questions. In the back.
Can anyone else see in the bottom right another red object?
Are you looking at this? Did you see this? Because that's real, ladies and gentlemen. Because we followed that up too. What else did you see? Oh, this? Yeah, that's a classic. That's a killer. Everybody picks on those. That's an artifact. That's probably some crap. A lot of people clicking crap. So technical.
Got a question from...
When was it discovered? I want to cry. We found it 6 days after we launched the project, which was in February. So it was discovered in mid-April. I went to the telescope and got it, I think. February 14th. We launched kind of close to Valentine's Day. I remember that for some reason. And and then we followed it up. No, we must have followed it up in March. I'm really sorry, I swore. I feel so bad. I don't know who to pick.
I guess those two.
You guys who weren't sure what brown dwarfs were, because I could hear you talking before. No, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. It's just we overheard you may have hated them before this talk. Oh, such a good question. And again, there's astronomers in the room, so I have to pitch why they're so awesome. So the ones that I'm most excited about, brown dwarfs, they're very low in mass and they're very low in temperature. And because of that, you can study them and they're alone. So they don't have a star that you have to block to try and get to their light. So I can study them directly. For instance, 0855. After it was discovered, I became vaguely obsessed with it and was like obsessed at the telescope of getting an image of it and then obsessed with getting a spectrum of it. And we did both of those things. And you could see indications that it has water ice clouds as an important opacity source. And we took a spectrum and we compared it directly to Jupiter. So you can take the coldest brown dwarfs and compare them directly to planets. Even the higher mass brown dwarfs, they are the tail end of star formation. So if you want to know what happens at the end of star formation processes, and the peak of the number of stars in the solar neighborhood in the galaxy at large is a very low mass kind of star. So you want to know what happens, how efficient star formation really is. You have to understand brown dwarfs. So you understand them for their atmosphere. You understand them because of the numbers that you have. They're an exotic kind of object, too. The cool name.
The woman standing right there.
So, one, what is the expected shape of the orbit of the planet nine, if any? Two, on the second slide, what was the thing in the contract partnership?
I don't even remember what my second slide was.
She's found another.
Oh, you found another object?
Another object.
You guys are like, you're so useful. You got to go to Backyard Worlds and then put it in the click data. We've got what you call a think you got one form. You got to fill that out because I'm clicking through. So the orbit of Planet 9, you got to ask Constantine because he's the one that knows exactly where it is, supposedly. You gonna draw it? You're gonna modern art draw it. I mean, according to his paper, I'm not mocking. I mean, I think it's an awesome result, and I'm so excited to see if it's real. We have to. I want to see it in order to believe it. Do you mean this one? So I'm trying to feel its gravity. I'm trying to find it and feel its gravity. I'm feeling it. Is it this one? I like that you guys want to find more in here. It's unlikely that there's more.
We'll just leave it up all during intermission.
Yeah.
And trivia.
So this was our real object. Do you see another one? See, yeah, this is classic. Yes, I see what you're doing. I've done I'm going to fully admit I am terrible at blinking images. And I've said this anytime I got interviewed about this project. Part of why I'm doing this is because I think other people are going to be way better at this than I am. But I would say, one, this is probably not real because I can't see it.
Unlikely related to this is maybe what your eye is doing. It's probably going from here to here. And I kind of see something here, but it's pretty black there. You really need a solid detection in all four in order to know that you've got something real. That's what I really want to see. Otherwise, we're going to put that in our category of follow-up later. Okay, well, no, I'm sorry. Go back to your questions during intermission.